What is media literacy? In 2010, James Potter, one of the most important researchers in the field of media literacy, he published an article called The State of Media Literacy. In that article, he included more than 40 definitions of media literacy. At the same time, he discovered that there were more than 15,000 references to media literacy in Google Ingram. As we can see in this image, now in 2017, there are more than 45,000 references to media literacy. So, as we can see, media literacy is an exploding field. There are more and more publications and research about media literacy in the world.
Do you remember Mafalda's critical discourse about television? Well, media literacy was born in exactly the same context. And for some researchers, like James Potter, mass media exert a wide range of potentially negative effects on individuals. In fact, Potter considered that media consumers activate a kind of automatic pilot when they are consuming media, and this automatic pilot makes them the false sense of being controlling the situation and controlling the information. According to him, media literacy is the way to activate the critical thinking and the critical attitude in people when they are interacting with media. In other words, media literacy provides people with tools to interact with media in the best way possible. It means to protect themselves in front of possible negative message from media.
As we have seen, the media literacy was born in the context of broadcasting television and broadcasting media. In the last 25 years, since the arrival of the web, we have seen the emergence of new digital interactive media and also an explosion of new media practices like video playing, video sharing, Instagram, memes, and so on. So, in this context is that we talk about transmedia skills. We understand transmedia skills as a set of competencies, strategies, learning strategies, values born in the context of this new collaborative culture.
What are the differences between media literacy and transmedia literacy? On one hand, if traditional media literacy was centered on television, transmedia literacy works with digital networks and interactive experience through networks. On the other hand, traditional media literacy considers teenagers as passive consumers, and transmedia literacy considers them as prosumers. It means consumers and producers. In a few words, if traditional media literacy asks what are media doing with teens, transmedia literacy asks what are teens doing with media.
Two concepts are at the center of this research. One of them is transmedia skills. What do we understand by transmedia skills? Well, by transmedia skills we understand a series of competencies related to digital interactive media, production, sharing, and consumption of contents. In 2006, Henry Jenkins and his group, they published a very important research about this kind of skills. They included networking, video playing, sharing contents. So our project is very close to this kind of research. We are analyzing and identifying transmedia skills in teenagers. Transmedia skills, they range from solving problems in video games to the production of pictures, of photographs, and sharing content, for example, in social media like YouTube. We also include inside transmedia skills, for example, the production of fan fiction or fan bits.
The second main concept is informal learning strategies. Informal education is a lifelong process by which every person acquires knowledge, skills, and abilities. And these knowledge, skills, and abilities comes from the environment and the daily life of these persons. Informal learning strategies were long present before the formal educational system introduced them. In fact, there are some spaces where they took place, like churches, libraries, or museums. Today, technological advances have expanded traditional informal education into new spaces where social network, website, and online communities create a new informal learning spaces.
The main questions behind the Transmedia Literacy Project are what are teenagers doing with media and where and how did they learn to do that? To answer this question, we develop a research and we focus our research in three areas: video game literacy, participatory cultural literacy, and web and social media literacy. The first part of the research concluded with a map of transmedia skills and informal learning strategies. The second part of the research included the creation of a YouTube channel and an online portal, the Teacher's Kit. The online portal will include a series of didactic activities, so if a professor, she or he detects inside the classroom that there are students playing video games or producing content for social media or writing fan fiction, they will be able to download an activity from the portal and exploit these transmedia skills inside the classroom.
The project has been developed in 8 countries: Spain, Portugal, Italy, Finland, United Kingdom, Australia, Uruguay and Colombia. In each of these countries, we have been working with different schools. For example, in Italy we have been working with high-tech and low-tech schools, and in Spain we have been working with public and private schools. With this distribution of countries and schools, the project covers different media, culture and education situations.
Considering that the Transmedia Literacy research was developed in 8 countries, the team decided to work with a new methodology called short-term ethnography. In this case, there's an intensive research during a short, limited period of time. The process was the following. First, we get the informed consent from parents, schools, and teenagers. Second, we develop a questionnaire inside the classroom with the students to know their media practices, to know their media consumes and cultural practices also. Third, we organize workshops, participatory workshops with all the teenagers, one of them oriented to video game production and video game discussion, and the other one about narratives. These workshops were very useful to see teenagers in action, to see how they organize, how they produce content, and how they do discuss about these media contents. Fourth, we have media diaries, where I ask the teenagers to write about the media consume and practices for 1 week. Then we have the in-depth interviews. We interview the most active teenagers in the field of video games, social media, and fan fiction and fan cultures to know better how they work, how they produce content, how they share content, what kind of platform they are using, and so on. Finally, we develop an ethnography, that is the study of the most important platform where students, teenagers share, produce, and consume contents. During the fieldwork, the research team performed 1,633 questionnaires, 58 workshops, and 311 interviews. Regarding the ethnography, the team analyzed 8 online communities during the research.
For data analysis, the team relied on NBW11 Pro for Teams, which is a server-based software for qualitative data analysis. NBW is also useful for organizing, retrieving, and storing data from different sets of sources. It's also appropriate for developing descriptive and analytical hierarchies through a system of nodes. And what's a node, you might be wondering? A node is a unit of analysis that represents ideas and topics. So once we have all the materials coded, then we can create analytical matrices by cross-matching and merging previous nodes. So we can say that our skills are the result of combining all those processes.
The Transmedia Literacy Research Project generated a broad set of outputs that go beyond the original objective of the research. If you are interested in our outputs, you can check the video about the informal learning strategies and the Transmedia skills. You can visit our website, or you can also follow us on Twitter.